All right, hello everyone. I am back again with another video, and today I wanted to talk about a comment that one of my viewers had left. But first, I do want to say thank you to all my new subscribers, thank you for my current subscribers, and thank you for all the interaction. Thank you for commenting and um, giving me your viewpoint. It has helped me to think about things a little differently and to also, um, I guess, reevaluate how I view certain things or come to a better understanding of what it is I'm dealing with as I go through this just journey as an ex Jehovah's Witness. Um, so again, thank you again for um, watching my videos, and thank you for sharing my videos. I appreciate it very, very much. And um, so let's talk about what I want to talk about today. And actually is a comment that someone had left. And they had said, I'm not sure if the person wants me to say their name, but I'm just going to say what they said. But they had said, you can tell you were once a Jehovah's Witness. You are over explaining your actions. So the over explaining part made me go, what does that mean exactly? And so I did Google it. And Google said, I have notes on the screen over here next to me, so I'll be reading it off the screen. So Google said, key points about over explaining: underlining anxiety. It often indicates a level of anxiety about how their actions will be received, leading them to feel the need to constantly clarify and defend their actions. Then it says people pleasing tendencies. Individuals who over explain may be trying to avoid conflict or gain approval by constantly justifying their actions. And then it said trauma response. In some cases, over explaining can be a coping mechanism linked to past experiences where explaining oneself was necessary to avoid negative consequences. And then it said, impact on communication. While sometimes, while sometimes necessary to provide context, over explaining can come across as overly defensive, patronizing, and even manipulative, hindering clear communication. So I was like, I went to therapy, and I felt the need to go to therapy because um, I just didn't know which way to turn or which way to go, and um, I couldn't get my mind to quiet down. And the word coming to mind is like not trusting my own judgment when it came to certain things. So because I had felt I had lived a lifetime believing a lie, and then I also had issues with personal relationships, and those relationships and the religion and all of that really just took a toll on my mental health. So I just went to therapy for a while, a counselor. And to be honest, it took me a minute to find one that I was comfortable with. Um, Fortunately, my insurance allowed me to pick and choose who I wanted to see. Um, the lady literally said, if you sit down and you're not comfortable with them and you don't like them, just let us know and we'll find someone else for you to go to. Um, I went to 4 different people before I found someone I was comfortable with. And I'll tell you the reason why I wasn't comfortable with the first 3. The first 3 um, all wanted to go over scripture or um, use the Bible or counsel me in some type of spiritual way. And that's completely the opposite of what I needed. I was trying to get away from a cult and not be indoctrinated into another. And so, I told him I'm ex Jehovah's Witness. I'm not interested in having any spiritual guidance right now. So I did not go back to them. The lady I ended up choosing, the first were three because I ended up saying the lady. So the lady that I chose, she was not not going to use the Bible and religion or spirituality to help me through. She's actually very good. I learned a lot from her, and she said she learned a lot from me. So um, she did it definitely more on the psychology side. There's quite a few books that she recommended that helped me with everything that I was going through from my personal relationships with family and religion, and so that helped. The only thing I can think of um, is that what the commenter said on my page is that he could see through the video, and that really amazed me that he was able to read me through the video and see that in me. And I agree wholeheartedly that I do over explain, very much so. And I didn't know where it came from, but I kind of thought about it once he said it, because he said being a Jehovah's Witness, he can see it. He can tell that I was once a Jehovah's Witness. And so I thought about the fact that being a military brat, I moved a lot every 2 to 3 years. The longest I stayed in a place was 4 years. Do not regret being a military brat. Love the experience. I loved everywhere I lived. Well, didn't care for Washington State, but other than that, I loved everywhere I lived. Um, and That's not a regret at all. Um, but being a Jehovah's Witness, I was constantly having to move. So I was constantly having to make new friends. I was constantly having to find a new Kingdom Hall and make new friends at the Kingdom Hall. And then also find a Kingdom Hall. Some of the Kingdom Halls, based on where we lived, there weren't a lot of children or kids my age. And some of them, so I was constantly having to make new friends. And then also, some places we went, there were children that I could associate with because we lived so far from the hall. So I was making friends with people who did not go to the Kingdom Hall. So I could have some type of social life. Or I wouldn't have not had any friends to deal with. I had a younger brother, but yeah. I mean, we're fine, but little boys don't want to play with their big sisters sometimes. But so yeah, the moving a lot and having to make new friends. So and then having to change schools. So middle school, high school. Um, didn't bother me so much in elementary because yeah, I was 9, so going into preteen. So middle school, high school, and then it didn't matter where I lived, whether it be in Germany or in the United States. Once someone found out you were a Jehovah's Witness, it was always you got to defend your religion. You got to defend why do you want to be a part of that religion? You don't get to have any fun being a part of that religion, right? And there was times I was the only witness in the classroom. So I always knew we're moving and I'm going to have to go through the whole spiel again of I'm a Jehovah's Witness. I can't do this. I can't do that, which they pretty much knew, you guys can't have fun. So the anxiety, where it says underlying anxiety, I agree wholeheartedly. So anxiety can affect the body by causing physical symptoms like increased heart rate, rapid breathing, sweating, muscle tension, headaches, nausea, digestive issues, dizziness, trouble sleeping, and a feeling of restlessness, all stemming from the body's fight or flight response, triggered by perceived threats, leading to the release of stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Chronic anxiety can also weaken the immune system, making individuals more susceptible to illnesses. Mind you, I don't know if I discussed this before. I think I talked about in a video before. I think I did talk about being a Jehovah's Witness is stressful. So as a child, it's this, of course, there's a lot of anxiety of being lonely and feeling like you don't have any friends. And then the whole, you already know that it's not going to be, it's no fun having to defend your beliefs. And majority of the people around you can't even understand why you even believe what you believe. And then children, they're like, why wouldn't you want to go to a birthday party? It's fun. Why wouldn't you want to get presents? It's Christmas. So all those things as a child, you couldn't even really explain it. You just was, that's just what my family does. That's what we believe, especially as a child. And then as a teenager trying to explain, the friends still just were like, oh, I don't get it, but if that's, what you believe, you believe, but I could never be a Jehovah's Witness. So the whole anxiety part, and then the people pleasing part. So I don't believe I was, to a certain extent, like outside of with friends and things, but I do have people pleasing tendencies, and that was more so within my family, where that definitely took place. Trying to behave in a certain manner so that you know my family was happy with me. So and I could say with certain friends, yeah, behave a certain way so that my friends could be happy with me too. But I was fortunate enough to have friends that I still was in contact with long after I graduated, that were people who weren't witnesses, that me being a military brat, they still chose to be my friend, even though I was a witness. And even though I didn't celebrate the holidays and things with them, we still became friends and hung out and did things together. Um, and they treated me like true friends, um, which was great. So that was all the way up through high school, and so those are some pretty awesome people, and still have contact with some of those. None of them were ever Jehovah's Witnesses or ever wanted to be a Jehovah's Witness. So, but they accepted me, even though my belief systems were different. So, um, but the trauma response part, where it says in some cases, over explaining can be a coping mechanism linked to past experiences where explaining to oneself was necessary to avoid negative consequences. So, as a child, having to deal in the school system, or um, you move to a new neighborhood and you're trying to find someone to hang out with or ride a bike with, and then you end up having to talk about your belief systems, what you believe, like a birthday party, or the kids were always having birthday parties. Oh, I can't come because I'm a Jehovah's Witness. And then you already know that when you get ready to have to tell another child that you can't participate in something, it's no fun, and it is anxiety, you know and so I'm saying also to say that it's a constant state of anxiety, having to explain yourself. And then even once you become an adult, at your place of work, having to explain, I won't be doing this. I don't participate in holidays. The holidays, your workplace is going to have holiday potlucks, and they're going to have some places you work with, they actually celebrate each other's birthdays, and you are not going to be a part of any of that. And having to constantly explain that at your place of employment, whether you're the new employee or a new employee comes in, and then there is that exclusion that takes place, because there's no point in inviting her or dealing with her, because she's all about her religion. So when I was looking at the symptoms of the anxiety with the headaches and the nausea and the digestive issues, um, I went through a lot of that growing up. I had severe migraines. I was on medication. I didn't get the medication until I was an adult and was able to see a neurologist. Unfortunately, military insurance, they did not offer me a neurologist. They just chalked it up to just headaches. They didn't call them migraines. They just chalked it up to hormones and monthly issues. That's what they did. And so I was on a lot of painkillers for migraines, because I would get them at least once a month. So sad to say, from early, probably 10, 11 years old, not long after I become a witness, I started having severe migraines, sometimes passing out, bouts with nausea. Um, so yeah, and I realized now it was an anxiety thing, and my body has been in fight or flight for a very long time, years, decades, and it does explain a lot of health issues that I have, because I think I mentioned before migraines, and then they thought I had a stroke when I was 41, and fortunately, um, they um, stuck me in the tube machine and looked at everything and said that there was no tissue damage or scar damage or any um, oh gosh, what's the word? Any scar tissue or anything to show that I had a stroke. Even though physically I looked like I had a stroke. If you looked at me, it looked as if I had a stroke. But fortunately, I recovered within a couple of days. And the doctor told me that my episode was a stress related episode. And I was 41 years old. And that was 4 years before I left the hall completely. So, um, so I'm saying all this to say that, again, being a Jehovah's Witness is stressful, and it causes emotional and psychological issues that you're not even aware of, um, because you've been dealing with it, if you've been in it like I am, basically my whole life. And I still find it amazing that that commenter was able to see through my videos that I overexplained myself. And I know, looking back now, why I did it, because I've always felt like I had to defend myself because of my beliefs. And that's a very uncomfortable feeling, because who doesn't want to be liked, especially when you're a kid, especially when you're a teenager? Who doesn't want to be liked? At some point, when you become an adult and you've gone through rejection after rejection after rejection, you kind of tell yourself you don't need friends, or, it is what it is. But at some point, even as an adult, who doesn't want to have friends? So being a witness is stressful. It's stressful. You can't you can't say that there's not stress involved. The going out in field service alone, when you really don't want to do it, but the going out in field service alone, the anxiety of picking a car group, like even that, because I did a video on it being cliquish. So you had some car groups that, everybody was, all the best friends were all in a car together, or you ended up in a car with a group of, sad to say, sisters you really didn't want to be with, or the providing overseers in town, or the star pioneers in your vehicle, and you might not be prepared, hadn't read your magazines, you have no idea what you're going to say. So then you're stressed because the providing overseer, or visiting overseer? I forget what it is. Traveling overseer. The traveling overseer would come and they'd be like, okay, Trina, I want you to do the door with me. And you're not prepared. So you're stressed, right? I had never got to a point where I completely had things memorized. My memory just didn't work like that. I had to practice over and over and over again. And then if I was extremely busy, especially more in my adult life where working and taking care of kids, I might not have read my magazine. So I'm presenting magazines that I hadn't even read. And I know we weren't supposed to do that. And so even just the anxiety of going out in service and then standing in front of that door and hoping and praying that no one comes, because no one comes to your door and the next door is someone else. So you're like, please don't let them answer the door. Please don't let them answer the door. Then when they do answer the door, try not to stumble and sound like you don't know what you're talking about, because the person next to you, who's probably a pro pioneer, presiding overseer, or just someone who's always out in service, and they can tell by your presentation you aren't prepared. You aren't ready to be at the door. You didn't prepare to go out in full service. So it kind of looks like you just showed up just to get some hours in. So with all that alone, going out in full service alone was anxiety ridden. And depending on how long you're out there, that's anxiety ridden. And then getting up that morning, that's anxiety ridden. And then, knowing, you need to do that at least, once a week minimum. So, constant state of anxiety. Constant state of anxiety. Well, I'm going to let this video stop here, and I'll be back again with another video. But I just wanted to say thank you again. Thank you for the person who commented and stated that, because you helped me to see something about myself that I did not realize, and that even when I was in therapy, it was not even brought up for me. So that's something that I need to, look at, evaluate, and work on. And I think the fact that I'm aware of it now and I understand it, that I'll be much better for it and be able to get through this journey. And I'm going to stop the video there, and thank you for watching.